All right, friends, I wanted to do a review here of this device. This is called the Remarkable 2. The Remarkable 2. The Remarkable is, I first was made aware of the Remarkable when I saw an ad a couple years ago for the Remarkable 1. And they were pitching this tablet as like a digital paper replacement. And they were talking about writing, having paper-like writing, and things like that. So let's talk about this. So what is this tablet? So if you'll notice very instantly, everything's black and white. This is what's called an e-ink tablet. Okay, the screen is called e-ink. I did a whole video on it, but basically, e-ink uses capsules for the screen, and the capsules are pixelated and they have black and white pigment, and then they charge the bottom panel and then it shows up the pigments. There's actually no light going on here. There's very little battery being used right now to display this screen, and what you're seeing is basically ink in capsules. An LCD or like an iPad screen has every pixel is made up of 3 lights, and the lights beam up into your eyes. And like for me, I get headaches when I spend amounts of time on like an iPhone or like a MacBook or any kind of LCD or LED screen. The battery life on this is incredible. It lasts a long time because once it makes the image, like, that's it. Of course, ink's not suitable for things like watching videos and things like that, but you'll see this isn't for that anyway. So it's black and white only, but it's very easy on your eyes. Let's see. Okay, so the Remarkable, this is basically pitches like a digital notebook. Okay, so you can have your notebooks here. You can make folders. My wife's messed around with this a little bit, but you can make folders. So see how here you can make a notebook. I mean, I'm not going to go into all this, but you can make all these notebooks. You can have different templates. So you can make this here. You can create this here. Okay, it's got a file system and things like that. It's very thin and very light. I mean, very thin. I mean, I got a pen here. I mean, for comparison. So, I mean, you can see what that exactly would, it's very thin. Very light, not very heavy at all. Okay. So, one of the things about this is it has a very paper-like writing experience, okay? So, okay, that's the eraser. So, you have this pen, and there's these nibs on the bottom. Okay, this nib is no good, so I'm actually going to take it off. I'm going to throw this. The nibs are replaceable. They do wear down because of the friction. You get these nibs here. I'm going to throw this nib in here, get a fresh nib in here. And the writing experience, it's phenomenal. Like, it really does feel very close to writing on paper and ink, because there's the resistance. Now, if you've ever used like an iPad with like an Apple Pencil, the iPad with the Apple Pencil you're writing on a screen, like with a plastic screen with, and it's like, it just doesn't feel good. It's like rubber against glass. But this, you can take notes, things like that. You can convert handwritten notes to text. I don't use this a lot. This was my wife's. So I can't really demonstrate that to you, but I do know there's a way to do it. You can add PDFs to this, and you can write on them. You can annotate. My wife has used this for music and things like that. So like, she would write out certain things, write out chords. So you can annotate a lot of things. There's all sorts of different tools. Like there's a lasso tool where you can draw around this and move things. My wife is the one that knows how to do that. I don't. Okay. You can use things like Google Drive and Dropbox and OneDrive. Now, one of the things about this is a very closed system. So there's no Google apps. There's no Android apps. I mean, this is basically what it is it's really a digital note-taking system. Now, there's some pros to this. So, like, if you have a hard time focusing, you want to sit down and take notes during whatever. You don't want to be seeing notifications on your tablet, or you don't want to be tempted to go on Facebook or Twitter. Like, this is great. You're sitting down, you're reading the Bible, you're taking notes, you want to pay attention, you're listening to a sermon. Like, it's a closed system, so it's very conducive to forcing you to pay attention on what you're doing. And a lot of people like that, and that's what this is marketed for. The cons to that are, I mean, you can't do a whole lot other than taking notes and annotating PDFs, and things like that, but it's very nice. Now, there's another thing is there's no light on this. Like, there's no backlight, there's no front light. So you have to have ambient lighting, okay? Some people sell third-party things where they have a light. Like, I have light on here. But the pro about this is if you take this into direct sunlight outside, you will be able to see the screen. It will not have the glare, like, how when you take your phone out or an iPad or something, and you're out in the sun and, like, there's the glare, and you turn your brightness all the way up and you still can't barely see. You'll never have that problem with this because this is an e-ink device. It's an e-ink screen. The cons to that are if you want to use it in the dark, which I don't know why you would necessarily need to be writing and taking notes in the dark. You can just turn on a lamp and whatever, and it'll work. Okay? Now, it does come with a couple different cases. And by the way, the Remarkable 2 sells for $299. You can get refurbished ones for $279. You might be able to find used ones cheaper for different places, but it has this nice folio thing that you can buy. This is actually kind of expensive. It's $129, but it's been very durable. It's very nice. It's like felty. You can get a folio one where it just slips into it for like $79. You can get Amazon cases cheaper for things like that. And so this is a nice folio case. Actually, the device will come out of this. It's attached by a magnet. Okay, so that's pretty cool. I did use one of these for a while, and I really liked it for when I was using it. But for me personally, I just do so much stuff with apps. Like, I use Memrise to work on Hebrew and Greek vocabulary. I just do a lot of things. But if you're one of those people who's still using pen and paper, like, this is great because you can take notes and have all your stuff in one location. There's pencils a pen that you use. This is an upgraded pen. I think the regular marker is like $79. It doesn't have an eraser. This one has an eraser. Now, unfortunately for me, the eraser part fell off. I glued it back in, and now the eraser function works sometimes. Okay, but there's an eraser thing here too. If you buy, I would definitely recommend getting the Marker Plus because it's got the eraser on. It is a little expensive, I guess. It's $129, but doesn't need to be charged. Has these nibs. You'll get nibs with it. It attaches magnetically to the side. And I would say the magnet is pretty good. It's not the best. I mean, you might want to. There's third-party cases you can get where it's a little bit more secure. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm putting in the wrong place. Yeah, that's pretty secure. I would say this is very secure. Okay, so the reading and writing, like if you're reading PDFs or things on here, it's going to be very good. I mean, looking at notes. This is perfect for like a pastor who you're preaching a lot and you want to keep track of your sermons and things like that, things of that nature. These nibs that you write with, they will wear down eventually. I mean, that's what you get for the friction of the writing, but the nibs are not that expensive. I don't remember what they cost. Writing is very fast. It's very responsive. I mean, there's no delay almost at all that you can notice. I mean, I don't notice it at all. You can use this for drawing, sketching, things like that. So I think new, the Remarkable, this case and this pen are like $597. That's pretty expensive. That's fancy stuff. You might not need all the fancy stuff. You can get the cheaper pen, the cheaper folio. You can get it refurbished. You can get that down to like $437 new. You can get eBay bundles with this stuff, with equivalent stuff for around like $350, things like that. So the pros are, it's got a great writing experience. It's a non-distracting closed system. It's a digital paper notebook. It's good for sermon notes, brainstorming, sermon outlines, meeting notes, sheet music, to-do lists. There's no backlight, But because of that, there's no LED panels. Makes your eye health a lot better. You're less likely to get headaches. It's got good battery life. And then the cons are there's no light, so you're not going to be able to use it much at night. You know, you will have to have a lamp, limited function. I personally prefer, like, I actually am doing this video with notes off my Onyx Books Note Air. But that's just me. And this is black and white only. So this is the Remarkable 2. If you want something strictly for notes, you want to be able to have all your notes. And you can, by the way, you can sync this to all sorts of cloud systems so you can save your stuff. You know, for some people are going to like this. No distractions, paying attention, able to take notes, have like a digital notebook. You know, like for me, like I preach a lot of sermons. You know, this to me was very appealing at the time when I used to do sermons and write notes. I was able to have everything in one system. You know, the writing experience, phenomenal. I mean, love it. Once you have this and you go to this, I mean, paper notebooks are obsolete, and you wouldn't want to go to writing on like an iPad screen once you use the Remarkable. So this is the Remarkable 2. I'll put some links in the description to where you can get some of these. And yeah, that's the Remarkable 2.